A single dad pulls over to help a stranger on a dark highway. He fixes her tire and learns she runs the biggest car company in America. But this roadside miracle is only the start. His small town is days from losing its factory. Seniors drive on worn tires. His wife's crash still haunts him. He spots signs of a hidden steering problem, and she vows to make it right. Then the hit comes. A smear about his past. Spray paint on his shop. A boardroom power play to stop the truth. The clock starts. 30 days to save a town and expose a secret. Can one act of kindness take down a giant, or will the machine crush them first? Before we get into the story, comment below where in the world you are watching from today. The rain hammered Ben's pickup like 1,000 tiny fists. Through the steady sweep of wipers, he spotted the silver SUV tilted on the shoulder, hazards blinking against the gray Ohio afternoon. "Dad!" Someone stuck. Maya pressed her nose to the passenger window. At 12, she had her mother's sharp eyes for folks in trouble. Ben checked his mirrors and eased onto the gravel. The Monarch emblem on the SUV's grille caught the light top-tier model, probably cost more than his shop made in 2 years. He grabbed his toolbox from the truck bed while Maya held the umbrella high, barely covering his shoulders. The driver's window lowered halfway. A woman sat rigid behind the wheel. Mascara tracked down her cheeks. Her hands gripped the leather like she might float away if she let go. "Ma'am, name's Ben Carter. Looks like you could use some help." She nodded, couldn't speak. Her breath came in little hitches. "Flat tire's just a flat tire. We'll have you rolling in no time." Ben kept his voice level, the same tone he'd used in Fallujah when things got sideways. "Mind popping the trunk? Maya, here's my assistant." The woman fumbled for the button. When she finally spoke, her voice cracked. "I'm Alex. Thank you. I didn't know who else would stop. Plenty of good folks on this stretch." Ben hauled out the spare and jack. "Maya, grab the lug wrench from my box." His daughter darted through the rain, already knowing which tool without asking. She'd been helping since she could hold a flashlight steady. Ben positioned the jack and started cranking. "See how I'm loosening these in a star pattern? That keeps the wheel balanced." He worked each lug nut loose while Maya crouched beside him, water dripping off her braids. "Same pattern when we tighten keeps everything even." Alex watched from inside, her breathing slower now. The flat came off wet and heavy. Ben ran his palm along the inner edge, feeling the uneven wear his fingers knew better than his eyes could see. "Your alignment's off. See this pattern?" He showed Maya the worn rubber, eating up the inside edge, probably pulling to one side when you drive. "A little," Alex admitted through the window gap. "Common problem. Easy fix if you catch it early." Ben mounted the spare, threading each lug by hand first. "Maya, what's the rule? Hand tight, then wrench tight, then check again. That's my girl." He torqued each nut in sequence, explaining the pattern again, though Alex probably wouldn't remember. Sometimes people just needed to hear a steady voice explaining ordinary things. The jack lowered smooth. Ben stowed the flat in her trunk, noticed a leather briefcase and a wrinkled business jacket tossed in the back. Whatever meeting she'd been heading to, it had already gone wrong before the tire blew. "Grace, gears, up in Hickory Ridge." He pulled a worn punch card from his wallet, rain spotting the cardboard. "First rotation's on me when you get that spare swapped out. Don't run on it too long, these donuts aren't meant for distance." Alex took the card with both hands like he'd given her something precious. "I can pay you, please." "No need. Storms passing through is all. They always do." She looked at him then, really looked, and something shifted in her face. "Thank you, both of you." Maya gave a small wave. They climbed back in the truck, soaked despite the umbrella. Ben watched Alex's SUV pull careful back onto the highway before following. "Why was she crying, Dad?" "Sometimes grown-ups have hard days, baby." Flat tire was probably just the last straw. They drove home through thinning rain, past the Monarch plant where the shift whistle would blow in an hour. Half the town still punched in there, though the rumors about cutbacks kept getting louder. Their kitchen smelled like home old coffee and lemon dish soap. Ben heated tomato soup while Maya peeled off her wet socks. The local news droned on about county fair preparations and a water main break downtown. Nothing about executives or highway breakdowns. Think she'll come to the shop? Maybe. Ben ladled soup into 2 bowls. Sometimes people just need help in the moment. Maya taped her latest sketch to the fridge, a sleek electric car with wings hidden in the wheel wells. She'd been drawing them all week, each one more impossible and beautiful than the last. Think Mom would like it? The question caught him like it always did, sudden and sweet. She'd love it. Probably ask if the wings actually work. They fold out at 60 miles per hour. Maya traced the pencil lines with one finger. For emergencies. They held hands over the cooling soup. Ben's grace came out rough, the way it did when he was tired. Thank you for this food and this day. Watch over those traveling in the rain. Help us see folks who need seeing. Amen. And Mom, Maya added, eyes still closed. And Renee, always. The rain had gone to drizzle by the time they finished dishes. Maya curled into the couch with homework while Ben paid bills at the kitchen table. The shop needed every customer it could get, but he didn't regret the free rotation. Some things mattered more than money. By 9, Maya's eyes drooped over her math book. Ben carried her to bed, like he hadn't done in 2 years, her legs dangling longer now, her head heavy on his shoulder. Night, baby. Night, Dad. The house settled into its evening quiet. Ben checked the locks, turned off the TV, and stood at the window watching the last drops fall from the gutter. Tomorrow would bring whatever it brought. Tonight, they were home. They were dry, and they'd helped someone who needed it. That was enough. The shop bell jangled at 7:30 sharp. Ben looked up from the ancient computer where he'd been fighting with an invoice, expecting old Jim for his 8 o'clock appointment. Instead, a woman in faded jeans and a Detroit Tigers cap pushed through the door, balancing a coffee carrier and a white bakery box. Behind her, a black sedan idled at the curb. "Morning." She set the coffee on his counter. "Thought you might need caffeine. It's from that place on Main Sunrise Cafe?" Ben recognized the voice before the face. Alex from yesterday, though the designer clothes had vanished. "You didn't need to. I wanted to check on that spare. And the alignment." She glanced around the waiting area with its cracked vinyl chairs and year-old magazines. "Is it too early?" "Never too early for car trouble." Ben grabbed his clipboard. "Pull her into Bay 1?" She nodded toward the sedan. "My driver can move it." The word driver hung in the air. Through the window, a man in a dark suit climbed out and approached Alex's SUV from yesterday, now wearing its spare tire like a badge of survival. Maya appeared from the back room, homework folder in hand. "Dad, I can't find my Hi." "The young lady with the perfect tool timing." Alex smiled. "Maya, right?" Maya nodded, suddenly shy. The woman seemed different in daylight, younger maybe, or just less fragile. "Got fresh donuts," Alex said. "Boston cream and glazed." Ben's daughter didn't need more invitation. She grabbed a glazed, took a huge bite, then remembered her manners. "Thank you." The SUV rolled into the bay. Ben popped the hood while Alex watched, sipping coffee from a paper cup. The driver stood near the door, hands clasped, scanning the empty shop like threats might materialize from behind the tool cabinets. "Ms. Diaz, should I wait outside?" The name hit Ben's ears wrong, familiar but misplaced. Ms. Diaz tensed. "That's fine, Marcus." Ben's wrench stopped moving. "Diaz. Alexandra Diaz." The pieces clicked like lug nuts tightening the Monarch SUV, the driver, the designer briefcase in the trunk. Alex pulled off her cap. Her dark hair fell past her shoulders, same as in the business magazines at the barber shop, same as on the news 6 months ago when she'd taken over Monarch Motors. Yeah. She met his eyes straight on. "I am." Maya's donut stopped halfway to her mouth. "You run the car company?" The whole thing, the whole thing. Ben's hands found a shop rag, wiping grease that wasn't there. The CEO of Monarch Motors stood in his shop, drinking coffee from Sunrise Cafe like she belonged there. Why didn't you say? Would it have mattered, yesterday? He thought about it. No, that's why I came back. Alex walked closer to the raised vehicle. Kindness without agenda is rare. I wanted to thank you properly. Away from, she gestured vaguely, everything else. The coffee's plenty. Actually, I have a proposition. Ben checked the alignment readings, buying time to think. The numbers came up wrong, like he'd predicted. The inside edges of both front tires showed months of uneven wear. Your suspension's shot? Pulling hard left. Surprised you haven't noticed. I've been distracted. She studied Maya's sketches taped near the register, flying cars and impossible engines. These are wonderful. Maya blushed deep. They're just drawings. They're dreams. Engineering starts there. Alex turned back to Ben. You serve a lot of seniors? Fair amount. Fixed income, Social Security. Try to keep costs down for them. That pressure check deal? She pointed to a hand-lettered sign. Free pressure check Tuesdays for seniors. Helps them stretch tire life. Saves money. Keeps them safe. Alex set down her coffee. Decision made. I want to fund a clinic. This Saturday. Monarch and Grace. Gears together. Free pressure checks. Tread depth measurements. Basic safety tips. We'll pay for your time, supplies. Bring some of our safety engineers. Ben's wrench slipped. Why? Because yesterday you told me about watching for wear patterns. Made me think about all the people who don't have someone to tell them that. She pulled out her phone. Already typing. We have a community outreach budget that's mostly golf tournaments and charity galas. This would actually help people. The shop's not exactly, Ben gestured at the water stain on the ceiling, the concrete floor with its spider web of sealed cracks. It's perfect, real, trusted. She looked at Maya. Would you help? Maybe show kids how to check pressure while their grandparents get their cars looked at? Maya nodded so hard her ponytail bounced. I need to think about it, Ben said. Of course. I'll come back after lunch with details, budget, logistics, whatever you need. Alex grabbed her cap, twisted her hair back up. Marcus can swap out this spare at the dealership, but I want you to do the alignment. Trust matters. She left 220s on the counter despite Ben's protests. The black sedan pulled away smooth and quiet, leaving the shop feeling suddenly empty. Dad, Maya's voice came out, whispered. The actual CEO was here. In our shop. Seems like. Why us? Ben thought about the woman crying in her car, the way she'd held that punch card like a lifeline. Sometimes people need help. Doesn't matter who they are. Maya grabbed her backpack, late for school now. Think she'll really come back? Said she would. But Ben stood in his quiet shop, staring at the worn chairs and old magazines, wondering what Alexandra Diaz really wanted. The morning appointments would start soon, oil changes and brake jobs for people who'd been coming here 15 years. Regular people with regular problems. Nothing like the problem of Monarch's CEO walking through his door. The bell over Ben's door chimed at 1:15. Alex walked in with a woman half her age carrying a tablet and wearing heels that clicked against the concrete. Ben, this is Addison Cho, our communications lead. Addison's handshake was firm, her smile genuine. Mr. Carter, thank you for Saturday. Haven't agreed yet. Alex spread papers on his counter, neat columns of supplies, times, assignments. Community safety pilot headed the page in corporate font. Church parking lot? Ben read. How'd you know? You mentioned Wednesday potluck yesterday. Figured your church had space. Alex traced a finger down the list. 8 stations, shade tents, hydration, large print handouts. You've thought this through. Addison has. She's brilliant at logistics. The younger woman pulled up something on her tablet. We can arrange transportation for seniors who can't drive. Partner with the senior center's van service. Ben studied the plans. Professional but not flashy. What about media? None. Alex's tone went sharp. This is for people, not cameras. Addison's fingers paused over her tablet. The board can expect what I tell them to expect. Alex softened. Sorry, but no reporters, no photographers except for our own documentation. This stays real. Ben reached for his phone. Need to call Pastor Ruth, make sure Saturday works. While he dialed, Alex and Addison mapped traffic flow with cones and arrows. Ruth picked up on the second ring. Benjamin was about to call you. Lucille needs her brakes looked at. Tell her Tuesday. Listen, I need the church lot Saturday morning. Community thing with Monarch Motors. Silence. Then, the car company? Their CEO wants to run a free safety clinic, check tires for seniors. The CEO herself? Long story. Can we use the lot? Of course, but I want details. You're coming to potluck tonight? Ben glanced at Alex, who was arguing quietly with Addison about font sizes. Actually, can I bring 2 guests? Ruth's voice warmed. Benjamin Carter, do you have a date? It's not they're from Monarch. Business. Bring them. 6, sharp. He hung up to find both women watching him. Church lot's yours. Pastor wants you at potluck tonight, if you're interested. We'd be honored, Alex said quickly. Addison checked her phone. You have the Riverbend walkthrough at 3:30. Right. Alex turned to Ben. Come with us? To the plant? You know the town, the workers. I need honest eyes. Ben thought about his schedule, 2 oil changes he could shift. Let me make some calls. The Riverbend assembly plant sprawled across 40 acres of Ohio soil, its parking lot half empty at 3:30. Ben hadn't been inside since Renee's cousin retired 5 years back. Frank Delgado met them at the employee entrance. His safety vest stretched over broad shoulders. His handshake could crush walnuts. Ms. Diaz, didn't expect you so soon after Detroit. Had business in town. This is Ben Carter, runs Grace, Gears, and Addison Cho from Communications. Frank's eyes measured Ben. You're Renee's husband. Sorry for your loss. Thank you. They walked the line, past stations where workers installed dashboards and doors. The whistle of air tools mixed with classic rock from someone's radio. Average age looked north of 50. How's the team? Alex asked. Nervous. Frank didn't sugarcoat. Rumors about slowdowns, outsourcing, that Argus Components mess has everyone spooked. What mess? Ben asked. Frank glanced at Alex, who nodded for him to continue. Steering subassembly supplier. Quality issues, but they're cheap. Word is we might outsource more to them. A woman at the weather strip station called out, Ms. Diaz, remember me? Trained your group last year. Alex walked over, shook hands, listened to the woman explain a better installation method she'd developed. Other workers started gathering carefully, like they weren't sure if this was allowed. Tommy should have gotten lead position. Someone said, 23 years here, trained half the floor. Who got it? Alex asked. Outside hire. Younger guy from corporate's preferred list. More voices joined in. Missed promotions for older workers. Black workers passed over despite seniority. The quiet kind of unfairness that never made it to official complaints. Alex listened to everything, took notes in a small pad. Thank you for telling me. I can't make promises today, but I hear you. That's what they all say, someone muttered. Fair. Alex met the worker's eyes. Judge me by what happens next, not what I say now. They finished the tour at 4:30. Frank walked them out, his face thoughtful. Never had a CEO ask real questions before. Never had a CEO who started on a line before, Alex replied. Ben drove to Maya's school, picked her up from art club. Paint streaked her uniform sleeves, made something for tonight. She held up a watercolor abstract swirls of blue and gold. Beautiful baby. We're bringing guests to potluck. Who? Ms. Diaz and Ms. Cho from this morning. Maya's eyes went wide. The CEO's coming to our potluck? Seems like. They stopped home for Ben's green bean casserole and Maya's fruit salad. By 6, they were walking up the church steps, dishes warm in their hands, evening light painting everything gold. The fellowship hall hummed with Wednesday night energy kids darting between tables, seniors debating casserole techniques, the youth choir warming up in the corner. Ben led his guests to a long table where Pastor Ruth held court, her silver hair catching the fluorescent light. Benjamin, and this must be our distinguished company. Pastor Ruth Avery, meet Alexandra Diaz and Addison Cho from Monarch Motors. Ruth's handshake was firm, as Frank's had been. CEO Alexandra Diaz? Well, sit. Frank, scoot over. Frank Delgado looked up from his loaded plate. Didn't expect to see you twice in one day, Ms. Diaz. Good food draws people, Alex said, settling beside Ben while Maya claimed the spot on his other side. The table filled there was Lucille with her famous potato salad, Tommy from the plant with his wife, a couple of choir kids who knew Maya from school. Plates were passed, tea poured, compliments paid to every cook. Your green beans are perfect, Alex told Ben. Mom's recipe, Maya said. He makes them just like she did. A quiet fell. Alex set down her fork. I'm sorry. When did you lose her? Ben kept his voice steady. 4 years ago this November. Pastor Ruth stood, tapping her water glass. The hall quieted. Before we dig into dessert, let's share our burdens and blessings. As Scripture says, carry each other's loads. People spoke up. Tommy's daughter made honor roll. Lucille's grandson needed surgery. The plant workers worried about jobs. Then Ruth's eyes found Ben. Benjamin, you've been quiet lately. Ben looked at his hands, calloused and clean. Maya's fingers brushed his arm. Most of you know we lost Renee in a car accident. Single vehicle crash on Route 43, sunny day, dry road. The hall was silent now. Even the kids had stilled. I've always believed something went wrong with the steering. It locked up, had to. Renee was too good a driver. The car was a Monarch Regent, 2018. He pulled a folded paper from his wallet, smoothed it on the table. Still have the VIN. Filed a claim, sent maintenance records, everything. They denied it. Insufficient evidence. Alex's face had gone pale. Addison stopped typing on her phone. I'm not telling you this to make trouble, Ben continued. But Ms. Diaz asked honest questions at the plant today. Figured she deserved honest answers. Ben, I'm so sorry. Alex's voice was thick. That should never have happened. The denial, the dismissal, none of it. Wasn't your doing. It was my company. That makes it my responsibility. She turned to face the room. I can't undo the past, but I can promise this. I will personally investigate every steering-related claim from that period. Starting with Renee's, Frank spoke up. We've heard promises before. Fair. But I'm not asking for trust. I'm asking for time to prove myself. Pastor Ruth moved to the head of the table. Then let's pray on it. Circle up, everyone. Chairs scraped back. The room formed a large, imperfect circle, hands joining rough ones and smooth ones, young and old, black and white and brown. Maya grabbed Ben's left hand. Alex took his right. Lord, Ruth began, we ask for wisdom in the days ahead, for courage to speak truth and ears willing to hear it, for justice tempered with mercy. Watch over this town, this plant, these families, and give special strength to those carrying heavy loads alone. A chorus of Amen rippled through the circle. The gathering broke up slowly. Alex helped clear tables while Addison cornered Frank about shift schedules. Maya showed her watercolor to the choir kids. At the door, Alex pulled Ben aside. I'll be in Detroit first thing tomorrow, our main offices. I need to pull steering data, warranty claims, everything from 2018. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Can I call you? 11 tomorrow morning? I'll be at the shop. She squeezed his shoulder. Thank you for trusting me with this. Thank you for listening. The drive home was quiet, Maya dozing against the window. Ben carried her inside, woke her enough to brush teeth and change for bed. "Dad, is Ms. Diaz really going to help?" "I think she's going to try. Mom would like her." "Yeah, baby, she would." After Maya was asleep, Ben went to his bedroom closet. Behind winter coats and Christmas decorations sat a banker's box labeled Renee, Accident. His hands shook slightly as he carried it to the dining table. Inside, the police report, tow records, his own measurements of the skid marks. The denial letter from Monarch's claims department, form letter cold, photos from the scene he'd taken himself, trying to understand. He spread everything across the table. Tomorrow, Alex would call. Tomorrow, maybe some answers would come. But tonight, he just sat with the papers that held the shape of his grief, evidence of a life interrupted, a family broken by mechanical failure and corporate indifference. The clock showed 9:15. He tidied the documents into neat piles, left the box open on the table for morning review, checked the locks, and headed to bed. In his nightstand drawer, Renee smiled from their last anniversary photo. He touched the frame gently. "Might finally get you some justice, baby." The house settled into darkness, holding its breath for what Thursday would bring. Thursday morning arrived cold and clear. Ben stirred brown sugar into Maya's oatmeal while she sketched at the table, working around the papers he'd spread out. "That Mom's accident stuff?" "Yeah, baby." He studied the mechanic's note again, Jerry from Buckeye Auto Salvage, dated 2 weeks after the crash. Scoring on steering column consistent with mechanical seizure. Couldn't reproduce, but damage pattern suggests sudden lock. Maya pushed her bowl aside. Why didn't Monarch believe Jerry? Companies need proof. Jerry's note wasn't enough. But Jerry's smart. He fixed our washing machine that one time. Ben smiled, despite everything. He is smart. Sometimes, smart isn't enough. At 8:10 he dropped Maya at school and opened the shop. The morning crawled. Oil change on Ethel Morrison's Corolla. Brake inspection for the Hendricks minivan. All the while, Renee's documents sat on his desk like a promise. In Detroit, Alex strode through Monarch's glass towers with Addison at her heels. The executive floor hummed with nervous energy. A CEO demanding old files meant someone's mistakes might surface. "I want everything," Alex told the records team. Steering complaints for 2017 through 2019 Regents. All supplier correspondence from Argus Components. And pull any finance summaries that Carl Whitman touched regarding warranty reserves. That could take days. Then you'd better start now. Addison worked her phone. Coordinating document pulls. Legals asking why. Tell them it's a proactive safety audit. Keep it vague. By 10:30, Alex's conference table groaned under bankers' boxes. She found what she was looking for in the third box, a cluster of steering complaints tagged with a note. Pattern identified. Recommend monitor, not escalate. Cost of investigation exceeds probable exposure. Exposure, Alex muttered. That's what they called it. Ben scanned the last page just as Pastor Ruth knocked. Thought you could use prayer. Always. She took his hands across the desk, right there between the tire catalogs and invoice clipboard. Lord, guide Ben through whatever comes next. Give him peace about Renee, wisdom about truth, and protection for his heart. Amen. Amen. Ruth studied the documents. You're sending these to that CEO? She asked to see them. You trust her? I trust that she's trying. Ruth squeezed his shoulder. Saturday's all set. Church lot, 9 to noon. The seniors center is running shuttles. Good. Ms. Diaz promised supplies, tents, water, safety sheets. A CEO who keeps promises. Will wonders never cease. The phone rang at 11 sharp. Ben? It's Alex. Morning. I found something. A cluster of steering complaints from your time period. Someone decided to monitor rather than investigate. The phrase they used was, cost exceeds probable exposure. Ben's knuckles went white on the handset. There's more. Alex continued. Addison found emails from Argus Components warning about rare torsion pin seizure at low temperatures. Finance was copied. Carl Whitman's team replied that they'd noted the exposure risk if it went public. They knew. Appears so. I need you to keep this quiet for now. Let me escalate internally first. Can you send me copies of your documents? Already scanned. I'll email them. Ben. I'm sorry. We failed Renee. We failed you. Just make it right. For the next family. I will. I'm opening an internal review. Every denied steering claim from that period gets re-examined. Thank you. I have a board prep session tomorrow morning, but I'll drive back after. Should reach Hickory Ridge by afternoon. We need to discuss Saturday's clinic, and I want to review your case in person. I'll be here. The afternoon blurred. Tire rotation. Alignment check. Old Sam Hoffman's ancient pickup that only ran on prayer and duct tape. Ben moved through the work, hand steady, mind elsewhere. At 5:30 he grabbed pizza on the way home. Maya chattered about her science project while they ate, building a volcano with paper mache. Ms. Chen says mine's the best so far. Course it is. You get your brains from your mom. And my stubbornness from you? Hey now. They were washing dishes when the phone rang. 8:45. Ben? Alex again. Quick update, I've formally opened the review. My team's pulling every denied claim from 2017 to 2019. Renee's is priority 1. What happens next? I present initial findings to the board Monday. Tomorrow I'll be in meetings until noon, then driving your way. Can we meet around 3? Shop closes at 5. Come whenever. Ben? This matters to me, not just as CEO. As a human being who sat at your table and heard your story, I know. See you tomorrow. Ben hung up, found Maya already in pajamas, volcano homework complete. Was that Ms. Diaz? Yeah, she's nice. She is. He tucked her in, then returned to the dining room. Renee's box sat ready. He carried it to the front door, setting it on the bench where he couldn't forget it. 10 o'clock. Time for bed. Tomorrow felt big somehow, like standing at the edge of something that could change everything or nothing. He clicked off lights, checked locks, said his nightly prayer for wisdom and strength. The house slept, holding its secrets and its hopes in equal measure. Friday morning came crisp and clear. 7:30. Ben unlocked the shop, Maya beside him with her backpack and a box of clipboards. 25 gauges. Ben counted, lining them on the workbench. 30 valve stems, pack of chalk for marking worn spots. Maya arranged clipboards with the safety sheets Alex had emailed large print. Simple diagrams showing penny test for tread depth, how to check sidewall cracks. Dad, you think a lot of people will come? Pastor Ruth says the senior center's bringing 2 van loads, plus whoever drives themselves. What if nobody comes? Then we'll check each other's tires and call it practice. She giggled, taping pens to each clipboard. Ms. Diaz is really doing this with us? Said she would. That's cool. A CEO checking tires. Everyone's got hands, baby girl. Some folks just forget to use them. In Detroit, Alex faced 12 directors around the polished boardroom table. Morning light caught the city skyline behind her. I'm asking for 2 things. A 30-day pause on all facility decisions and authorization for a confidential steering system review covering model years 2017 through 2019. Why? Director Harrison asked. New data suggests we may have missed something. I want to be thorough before any major moves. Carl Whitman leaned forward. This review could cost millions. If word gets out, which is why it's confidential. And the pause? Whitman pressed. Riverbend is hemorrhaging money. 30 days won't break us, but it might break shareholder confidence. Whitman's voice carried an edge. I have the votes to close Riverbend, Alex. Don't make this harder than necessary. The room went quiet. Lines were being drawn, all in favor of the pause. 7 hands rose. Enough, barely. The confidential review? 8 hands. Better. Motion carries. Alex gathered her papers. Thank you for your trust. Whitman followed her to the elevator. "You're making a mistake. River Bend's been dying for years. Maybe, or maybe we haven't tried the right medicine. Sentiment doesn't balance budgets. Neither does cutting our way to irrelevance." The elevator closed between them. Addison's text hit. As Alex reached her car, "Check your email. We have a situation." The link opened to a regional news blog. The headline made her stomach drop. "Single dad fixes flat tire for crying woman. She's the CEO of Monarch Motors." The article was warm, human, a church volunteer's account of Wednesday's potluck, Ben's kindness, tomorrow's clinic. But the comments were already spinning. PR stunt, damage control for the Riverbend closure, using some mechanic for good optics. Alex called Ben immediately. "I saw it," he said before she could speak. "Mrs. Henderson from church has a blog. Didn't know it would spread. Are you okay? This attention, the story's true, isn't it? You had a flat, I changed it. Now we're helping seniors. Nothing to hide." The internet doesn't always care about truth. Then that's the internet's problem. I've got 25 tire gauges to organize. You're not worried? "Ma'am, I served 2 tours in Afghanistan. Takes more than keyboards to rattle me." Despite everything, Alex smiled. "I'll be there by evening." "Good. Pastor Ruth wants to walk the layout before tomorrow." "Ben? Thank you for not panicking. Save your thanks for after we check 100 tires." By 6:30, Alex's rental crunched into the church parking lot. Ben's truck was already there, tailgate down, Maya sorting supplies into milk crates. "Ms. Diaz," Maya waved, "we have so much stuff." Frank appeared from the fellowship hall, Pastor Ruth behind him carrying orange cones. "Look what the storm brought in." Frank grinned. "Our CEO, ready to work." "Where do you need me?" Alex asked. "Help Maya with those crates," Ben directed. "Frank, let's set the traffic pattern." They marked lanes with cones entrance, 3 inspection stations exit. The fellowship hall would serve water and cookies while people waited. "Simple," Pastor Ruth approved. "Clear flow, no confusion." Alex's phone buzzed. "Whitman, I need to take this," she apologized, stepping away. "Alex, thought you should know Riverbend's closure is officially on the agenda. Full board vote in 30 days. That's sooner than elections have consequences. You got your pause, but that's all. 30 days to change minds or accept reality. I understand. Do you? Because playing mechanic in Ohio won't save that plant." The call ended. Alex returned to find the group watching her. "Trouble?" Ben asked. "Riverbend, the closure vote is in 30 days. Frank's face darkened. 30 days? I'm going to fight it. Show them a better path. But yes, 30 days. Silence settled like dust. "Then, we better pray," Pastor Ruth said simply. They formed a circle right there in the parking lot, CEO and mechanic, pastor and foreman, little girl with chalk-stained hands. "Lord," Ruth began, "grant us wisdom for tomorrow and all the tomorrows after. Protect this plant, these people, this purpose. Give Alex strength for the battle ahead. Give Ben peace about the past and hope for what's coming. In Jesus' name, amen," they chorused. Frank loaded the last cones. 9 sharp tomorrow? 8:30 for setup, Ben confirmed. "I'll bring coffee," Frank offered. "The real stuff, not that corporate water." They secured everything in Ben's truck. Maya climbed in, yawning. "Long day, baby girl?" "Good day," she corrected. Alex stood by her rental. "Thank you, all of you." "Thank us after tomorrow," Ben said. "When we see if this works, 8 o'clock. Stars emerging. Tomorrow would come soon enough with its tires and truth, its service and questions about what 30 days could hold. Saturday morning arrived crisp and clear. 8 o'clock sharp, Ben's truck pulled into the church lot where Alex and Pastor Ruth were already arranging folding tables. "Morning?" Ben called, Maya hopping down with a box of clipboards. "Coffee's brewing," Frank announced from the fellowship hall door. "The real stuff. They worked like a unit. Frank and Ben assembled shade tents, while Alex and Maya spread large print handouts across tables. Pastor Ruth directed traffic cone placement with military precision. "Water station goes here," she pointed. "Close enough to reach, far enough to avoid the work area." Addison arrived at 8:30, tablet in hand. "I've got the check-in system ready. Simple spreadsheet name, vehicle, services needed. No cameras?" Ben verified. "None. I told 3 reporters this was service, not spectacle. They weren't happy." "Good," Alex said, tying her hair back. "Their happiness isn't the point." By 9, everything was ready. 3. Inspection lanes marked, supplies distributed, volunteers briefed. 9:15 brought the first wave. Mrs. Chen in her ancient Buick, Tom Willis with his pickup that had seen better decades. The Hendricks sisters sharing a Toyota older than Maya. "Welcome, welcome," Pastor Ruth guided them forward. "Just pull right up to Ben there." Ben's approach was pure calm. "Morning, Mrs. Chen. Let's see what your tires are telling us." He knelt beside her front wheel, pressure gauge in hand. 32 psi. Right on target. "Now let's check that tread." Maya handed him the depth gauge while explaining to Mrs. Chen, "The penny test works too. If you can see Lincoln's whole head, it's time for new tires." "Smart girl," Mrs. Chen beamed. Alex worked the second lane, sleeves rolled to her elbows. She read name tags, remembered details. "Mr. Patterson, right? How's that grandson's baseball season?" "You remembered. He made varsity." "Wonderful. Now, let's look at these sidewalls." The line grew steady. Frank recruited 2 off-shift workers who'd heard about the clinic. "My guys," he introduced them. "They know rubber." By 10:30 they'd checked 40 vehicles. Patterns emerged. Consistent underinflation, worn edges suggesting alignment problems. And something else Ben noticed at first. "Maya, bring my notebook." He'd started logging VINs with permission, noting which vehicles showed that telltale inner edge wear. 7 so far, all with Argus-supplied steering assemblies. "Documenting?" Alex asked quietly during a water break. "Patterns tell stories. Keep the list." The sun climbed higher. Pastor Ruth distributed cookies from the fellowship hall while seniors waited their turn. Stories flowed with the sugar. "Haven't had anyone check my tires in years," admitted Walter Hopkins. "That's why we're here," Ben assured him, finding a slow leak in his rear valve stem. 5-minute fix. "Come by Monday." Noon brought the rush. Word had spread through senior housing and the VFW hall. The team adapted, moved faster without rushing. "Mrs. Kowalski, you're down to wear bars," Frank said gently. "These tires are dangerous." "I know, but my pension." Ben made a note. "Monday, 9 a.m. at my shop." "We'll work something out," Alex overheard, caught Ben between cars. "How many like her? Today?" 18 so far who need work they can't afford. "We'll cover it." "That's not sustainable. Neither is letting them drive on bare rubber. Figure out the cost." "Monarch will handle it." 1 o'clock brought the Thompsons in their van, medical equipment visible through the windows. "Our son has CP," Mrs. Thompson explained. "We drive to Cleveland for appointments. Are the tires safe?" Ben spent extra time on their inspection, checking every inch. "Front left has a bubble starting. Not critical yet, but soon." "How soon?" "Week, maybe 2. The fear in her eyes was familiar. Ben had seen it in Renee's face that last morning. "Grace, gears. Monday afternoon. We'll get you a replacement." "We can't." "You can, and you will. That's what neighbors do." By 1:30, the line finally ended. 112 vehicles total. Ben's list showed 23 with the suspect wear pattern, 18 scheduled for free follow-ups. They gathered at a folding table, exhausted but energized. Maya poured water while they debriefed. "What worked?" Alex asked, taking notes. "Clear lanes," Frank offered. Nobody got confused. The shade tents, Pastor Ruth added. Essential in this heat. Maya's handouts, Ben said. Simple, visual, people understood them. What needs improvement? More air hoses, Frank said immediately. We bottlenecked there. Chairs, Ruth added. Some folks stood too long. Maybe a number system? Maya suggested. Like the deli counter? They refined ideas for 20 minutes. Alex pulled out cash, paying for supplies on the spot through Addison's careful documentation. Monday morning, Alex said to Ben and Frank, can you join a listening session at the plant? 8 o'clock? I'll be there. Frank nodded. Me too, Ben confirmed. 2:15. They stored cones in the church shed, folded tables, packed supplies. Good work today, Pastor Ruth declared. Real ministry. Ben and Maya drove home in comfortable silence. The house felt peaceful after the morning's energy. They heated leftover soup, ate quietly at the kitchen table. Daddy? Yeah, baby girl? Those people with bad tires. They were scared. Some were. Like when Mom. Ben reached across the table, took her small hand. That's why we helped them. So they don't have to be scared. Ms. Diaz worked hard today. She did. She's nice. Different from TV nice. Real nice. That's a good way to put it. 9:30. Dishes done, showers taken, prayers said. They fell into bed tired, in the best way, the exhaustion that comes from mattering, from serving, from seeing fear replaced with relief, one tire at a time. Tomorrow would be Sunday. Rest, church, quiet, but Monday would bring the plant, the listening, the first real step toward saving Riverbend. 30 days, -2. The clock was already ticking, the sanctuary filled with familiar Sunday sounds, rustling bulletins, quiet greetings, children's whispers. Ben and Maya settled into their usual pew, third row from the back, left side where Renee used to sit between them. 2 pews behind, Alex slipped in quietly. No fanfare, no announcement. Just another worshiper in jeans and a simple blouse. Maya noticed first, tugging Ben's sleeve. He glanced back, gave a small nod. Alex returned it. Pastor Ruth climbed the pulpit at 10 sharp. Before we begin, I want to thank everyone who made yesterday's clinic possible. She named volunteers, praised the hours given. We served over 100 neighbors. That's the gospel with grease under its fingernails. Gentle laughter rippled through the congregation. We'll have follow-up slots this week. If you need help, see Ben Carter after service. The sermon focused on the Good Samaritan. Ruth drew parallels without naming names, strangers on roadsides, help given freely, community crossing boundaries. Alex listened intently, hands folded. After the benediction, people dispersed slowly, catching up, making lunch plans. Alex began stacking chairs without being asked. You don't have to do that, Ruth said. I want to. Helps me think. Ben joined them, Maya organizing hymnals nearby. They worked in companionable rhythm: lift, stack, carry. The sanctuary emptied gradually. 12:15 found them in the church basement around a folding table. Sandwiches from the fellowship committee, coffee in paper cups. Alex pulled out a folder. I've been working on something. She spread papers across the table. SAGE, Seniors and Apprentices Generational Engineering. Frank leaned in, reading. Paid apprenticeships, full benefits, paired with workers 50 and older who want to teach what they know. The knowledge transfer we've needed for years, Frank said. There's more. Alex pointed to the second page. A Safety and Quality Council, not just management. Workers, community members, rotating seats. Who picks the community members? Ruth asked. Joint selection. Union, management, and town council each nominate candidates. Ben studied the structure. You need a rotating chair from the floor, not management, not permanent. Someone different every quarter. That's good. Frank agreed, keeps it honest. Addison took notes on her tablet. Adding that now. What about retaliation? Frank's tone sharpened. I've seen programs like this become witch hunts. Worker raises a safety concern. Suddenly, they're on night shift. Anti-retaliation clause, Alex said immediately. Written, specific, with penalties. And a promotion audit, Frank pressed. Transparent. Show us who's been promoted, who hasn't, and why. Demographics included? Everything. Age, race, gender, years of service. Sunlight's the best disinfectant. Alex nodded to Addison, who typed rapidly. One more thing, Addison suggested. A pledge card. 1 page, simple language. Workers and leaders both sign it. Public commitment to the program's values. I like that, Ruth said. Covenant, not contract. They refine details for another hour. Apprentice wages, mentor bonuses, council meeting schedules. Maya sketched a logo idea, 2 hands passing a wrench, like a relay race. Tomorrow morning, Alex said. 9 o'clock listening session at the plant. We present this draft, get feedback, adjust. Workers will want to see commitment, Frank warned, not just words. Thursday evening town hall if tomorrow goes well. Public presentation, questions, signatures. That's fast. We have 30 days, actually 28 now. 3 o'clock. Alex and Addison packed up for the drive to Detroit. Board subcommittee call at 5. Alex explained. I need to prep them for SAGE, start building support. You're driving back tonight? Ben asked. Early morning. I'll be at the plant by 8:30. They carried dishes upstairs, said goodbyes in the parking lot. Alex's rental car disappeared toward the highway. At home, Ben heated leftover chili while Maya set the table. Ms. Diaz came to church, Maya said. She did. She didn't have to. No, she didn't. I think she wanted to. Like, for herself. Ben considered that. I think you're right. After dinner, they laid out Monday clothes, Maya's school uniform, Ben's clean work shirt. He'd opened the shop late, after the plant session. At the dining table, Ben printed pledge card mock-ups from Addison's draft. Simple headlines. We commit to safety. We commit to fairness. We commit to each other. Maya read over his shoulder. It's like a promise. Exactly like a promise. His phone buzzed at 7:40. Alex. Confirmed 9 a.m. entry at the main gate. I'll be there by dawn. Subcommittee was receptive but cautious. We need strong worker buy-in tomorrow. Ben typed back. We'll get it. 9:30 bedtime came quick. Prayers included the plant, the workers, the program, and help Ms. Diaz be brave, Maya added. Amen to that. Ben set his alarm earlier than usual. Tomorrow would set the tone for everything that followed. SAGE. Could work, could save jobs, could change how Monarch operated. But first, it had to survive the factory floor's scrutiny. Workers had heard promises before. They'd need more than words on pledge cards. They'd need to believe things could actually change. 28 days to prove it. The clock kept ticking. Monday arrived dark and cold. 6:10 a.m. Alex's rental car pulled into Riverbend's visitor lot. She'd driven through the night, coffee cups stacked in the holder. Ben arrived at 8:40, found her reviewing notes in the car. You sleep at all? Enough. She grabbed her folder. Frank here? Coming now. Frank's pickup rumbled up. 8:50 at the south gate. Security waved them through. The mezzanine overlooked the main floor neutral ground between management offices and production lines. They'd set up 4 stations with chairs in circles. 9 o'clock sharp, first group filed in, stamping department, 8 workers, ages ranging from 25 to 62. No recordings, Frank assured them. No names unless you want them noted. Ben opened simple. What's working, what's not? Silence at first. Then Marcus, a press operator, spoke. They say I don't have the right culture fit for team lead. 20 years here. What culture am I supposed to fit? Others nodded. The phrase came up repeatedly, culture fit. It's code, said Denise from Dye Maintenance. Means you're too old, wrong color, or both. Ben wrote everything. Alex listened, without defending, without explaining. Just listening. 30 minutes. Next, group paint department. Training sign-offs are a joke, one painter said. Supervisor checks boxes without watching. Then, when something goes wrong, guess who gets blamed? And the Argus components, another added. New supplier 2 years ago. Tolerances are different, but quotas stayed the same. We're rushing to compensate. More notes. Names of volunteers for the Safety Council. Frank made sure everyone got water, bathroom breaks, assembly department, 11:30 session. My knees are shot, admitted a veteran installer. Could teach the job perfect, but can't crouch all shift anymore. So they're pushing me out instead of using what I know. Mentorship program would help, someone suggested. Let us old guys teach while the young ones do the bending. Quality control, noon session. We flag issues, they disappear, a QC inspector said quietly. Especially anything touching steering columns, like it never happened. Ben and Alex exchanged glances. Frank kept the discussion moving. 12:30 in the break room, vending machines humming. They spread notes across a scarred table. Themes are clear, Ben summarized. Mentorship needs a pay bump for trainers. Training time has to be protected contract language, not suggestions. Published promotion rubric, Frank added. Objective criteria posted where everyone can see. Do it all, Alex said. Addison, can you build slides from this? Addison's fingers flew across her tablet. Wednesday preview for the board subcommittee? Tuesday, if possible. We're running out of days. 2 o'clock. Addison's phone buzzed. Encrypted message, anonymous sender. Alex, you need to see this. Redacted email chain, Argus Components letterhead. 2 years old. Subject line. Torsion pin anomaly temperature testing results. The thread detailed 3 incidents of steering column seizure in cold conditions. Engineering recommending immediate revision. Finance pushing back on costs. Forward to legal? Alex said quietly. Sender identity protected. Already scrubbed their information, Frank read over their shoulders. This is what killed Renee Carter? Possibly. Probably. The room fell silent. 4 o'clock approached. Alex packed for another Detroit run. Early session tomorrow with sympathetic board members. I need them on side before Wednesday. We'll handle the floor, Frank promised. Pledge cards tomorrow, all shifts. Ben and Frank sketched distribution plans, start at shift change, hit break rooms, catch smoking areas. They'd need 50 signatures minimum to show real support. 6:15, Ben's kitchen. Maya stirred soup while Ben spread out a steering column diagram. See this pin here? It's supposed to turn freely. But it doesn't? Sometimes it sticks. When it's cold or worn or manufactured wrong, then the wheel locks. Maya studied the drawing. Like Mom's car? Maybe. Ms. Diaz will fix it? She's trying. They worked through Maya's science homework, simple machines, levers and pulleys. Not so different from steering mechanics, Ben thought. Shop inventory after dinner. Brake pads running low, order more. Tomorrow's schedule. 4 appointments before noon, then back to the plant for pledge card collection. Maya arranged the appointment cards by time. Mr. Henderson at 8, Mrs. Park at 9. You'd make a good office manager. Dad? I'm 12. Best age to start learning. 9:45, getting ready for bed. The email about the steering thing, Maya said. Someone was brave to send it. Very brave. Could lose their job. But they sent it anyway. Sometimes doing right costs everything. Prayers included the anonymous engineer, wherever they were. The workers who spoke up. The board members Alex would face tomorrow. 27 days left, Maya counted. 27 days. They'd need every hour. The Argus email changed things. Proof of known risk. Documented danger. But proof meant nothing without action. Tomorrow, pledge cards. Wednesday, board preview. Thursday, town hall. Each step building toward the moment of truth Would Monarch choose profits or people? Would Riverbend survive? Would Renee's death finally mean something? Ben checked his alarm. 5:30 wake up to open the shop early, finish appointments before the plant run. The clock kept its steady rhythm, time moving forward, carrying them toward answers they couldn't yet see. Tuesday morning, day 8. 7 o'clock sharp. Have a good day, sweetheart? Ben watched Maya shoulder her backpack and join the stream of kids entering Hickory Ridge Middle School. Frank waited at the plant's main gate, stack of pledge cards in hand. Morning shifts coming out, day shifts going in, Frank said. Perfect timing. They positioned themselves at the pedestrian entrance. Workers streamed past, some exhausted from overnight, others clutching coffee for the day ahead. SAGE program. Ben called out. Mentorship, fair promotions, community voice. A woman from assembly stopped. This real or just talk? Real as it gets. CEO's pushing it herself. She took a card, read it, signed. My dad worked here 40 years. They pushed him out at 58. Said he couldn't keep pace. That's what we're fixing. The signatures came steady, young workers wanting training, veterans wanting respect, everyone wanting hope. By 8:30, they had 41 names. Supervisors coming, Frank muttered. 3 floor managers approached together. Ben tensed. This the mentorship thing? The lead supervisor asked. It is. We get credits for training hours, recognized in reviews? That's the plan, written into the program. The supervisor studied the pledge card. Been saying for years we lose knowledge when we lose people, he signed. The other 2 followed. 9:30 count. 63 signatures. Better than I hoped, Frank admitted. Ben checked his watch. Got alignments at the shop. You good here? Go. I'll keep collecting through lunch break. 11:15, Grace, gears, Mrs. Chen's Buick on the lift, front wheels splayed for alignment. Inner edge wear again, Ben noted, logging the pattern. 4th vehicle this week with the same issue. All Monarch models, all with Argus components. He adjusted the camber, checked the tow settings, precise work. The kind that saved lives when done right. Next car, Mr. Thompson's sedan from Saturday's clinic. Same wear pattern. The phone rang. Addison's number. Ben? Alex is in prep all afternoon. Wanted you to know the pledge counts in the presentation. How's she holding up? Focused. Determined. Little scared, honestly. Tell her we're praying. She knows. Detroit, that same afternoon. Conference room 32 floors up. Alex stood before a mirror of slides rehearsing. 90-day pause on closure decisions. Here's why. She clicked through. Workforce demographics, skill retention rates, retraining costs versus mentorship investment, voluntary steering recall review. The right thing, the smart thing. More slides, customer complaints, the Argus emails, carefully sanitized, potential liability calculations, SAGE. Pilot program, already 63 pledged supporters. Final slides, implementation timeline, success metrics, weekly reporting structure. Addison adjusted a transition. Maybe lead with the pledge count? Shows grassroots support? No, lead with data. They respect numbers. Another run-through. Tighter this time. 5 o'clock, Alex's call came through to Ben's shop. Thursday town hall confirmed. 6:30, high school gym. What can you announce? Whatever the subcommittee approves tomorrow. Could be everything, could be nothing. They'll approve it. Your confidence is touching. Not confidence. Faith. A pause. We'll need chairs for 300 microphone system. Frank's handling audio. Pastor Ruth has the church volunteers for setup. Ben, if they say no tomorrow, then we tell the truth anyway. These people deserve that much. Wednesday arrived gray and cold. 8 a.m., Detroit. Alex faced her laptop screen, 5 subcommittee directors in separate windows. Thank you for making time. I'll be brief. She shared her screen. First slide. Riverbend by the numbers. 3,000 direct jobs, 10,000 indirect. Average tenure, 18 years. Next slide, closure costs. Severance, environmental cleanup, stranded assets, 120 million minimum. CFO Whitman's window unmuted. Short-term costs versus long-term savings. Let her finish, Carl. Director Patricia Hayes. Sympathetic but cautious. Slide 3. The Argus emails. 2 years ago, our supplier warned us. Torsion pin seizure in cold conditions. We monitored instead of acted. Rare incidents, Whitman countered. Statistically insignificant. Tell that to Ben Carter. His wife died. Silence. Slide 4. Saturday's clinic outcomes. 112 vehicles inspected. Pattern of premature wear consistent with alignment issues linked to steering components. Slide 5. SAGE. Pledge cards. 63 signatures and counting. Workers want this program. Director James Chen spoke up. Implementation costs? $2.3 million for the pilot year versus $12 million in knowledge loss if we cut the veteran workforce. More silence. Whispered sidebar conversations on mute. Patricia Hayes unmuted. Your proposal? 3 parts. 90-day pause on closure decisions. Voluntary steering recall review. SAGE. Pilot launch. Conditions? Whitman demanded. Weekly progress reports. Full transparency on costs. Board ratification vote at month's end. 11:10 a.m. The vote. Hayes, yes, conditional on weekly reports. Chen, yes, with cost caps. 2 others, yes. Whitman, absolutely not. 3-1, with 1 abstention. Motion carries. Hayes announced. 90-day pause approved. Voluntary recall review authorized. SAGE pilot may proceed. Full board ratifies or rejects in 21 days. Alex's hands shook slightly. Thank you. I won't let you down. 2:30 p.m. Her text to Ben. Green light. Conditional. See you at soundcheck 5:30 p.m. Thursday. Ben read it twice, then printed 50 town hall notices. Maya helped tape them in the shop windows after school. He called Pastor Ruth. It's on Thursday night. Chairs? 300 minimum. We'll have 400, just in case. Frank answered on the first ring. Audio systems reserved. Kyle from the plant choir will run sound. Wednesday evening, Ben's kitchen. Spaghetti with meat sauce, Maya's favorite. Will the whole town come tomorrow? Most of it. What if they get angry? At what? At Monarch. At Ms. Diaz. About Mom. Ben set down his fork. Anger's just fear with nowhere to go. We're giving them somewhere to go. Forward. They stapled flyers until 8:30. Maya's neat printing at the bottom. Free childcare provided. 9:15, lights out. Dad? Yeah? Tomorrow changes everything, doesn't it? Everything. Thursday would arrive in hours. The gym would fill. Alex would stand before a town on the edge, and whatever came next would come. Thursday, day 10, 3:30 p.m. The high school gym smelled of floor wax and decades of basketball games. Addison crouched behind the portable stage, pressing silver tape along the last audio cable. That's the 3rd time you've checked that spot, Frank observed, testing the microphone levels. 1 trip hazard, and we're tomorrow's headline. Kyle from the plant choir adjusted the soundboard. We're good. Clear as Sunday service. Ben carried the last stack of programs from his truck. Maya had designed the cover hands clasped around a tire, forming a circle. Pool photographer only? Ben confirmed with Addison. Back corner. No roaming, no interviews. Pastor Ruth arrived with the coffee urns. 412 chairs. Borrowed extras from First Methodist. 6 o'clock. Early arrivals claimed front rows. Retired line workers, young families, shop owners from downtown. 6:15. Alex emerged from the side door. Navy suit. No jewelry except small pearl earrings. She found Ben arranging programs. Nervous? Terrified. Good. Means it matters. 6:30. Standing room only. Pastor Ruth took the microphone. Let's begin how we always begin. Together. The plant choir filed onto the stage. 40 voices, still in work clothes. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. The gym sang along, every voice, every generation. When the hymn ended, Ben stepped forward. No notes, just his steady presence. Tires gripped the road through contact patches, small areas carrying enormous weight. He paused, scanning familiar faces. Towns work the same way. We hold each other up through countless small connections. When those connections weaken, we all feel it. Nods throughout the crowd. 3 weeks ago, I changed a stranger's tire. Tonight, that stranger who's become a friend has something to tell us. Please welcome Alex Diaz. Alex approached the microphone. The gym quieted. Thank you, Ben. Thank you all for coming. Deep breath. I came to Ohio to close a plant. That was the plan. Cut costs, protect margins, move on. Uncomfortable shifting in seats. But this town, you've taught me something. Business isn't about margins, it's about people. And Monarch Motors has forgotten that. She clicked her remote. The screen showed Riverbend Assembly at sunrise. Today, Monarch's board subcommittee approved 3 immediate actions. The gym held its breath. First, a 90-day pause on any closure decisions regarding Riverbend Assembly. Gasps, someone shouted, "Thank God." Second, a voluntary recall review of steering components, conducted by independent auditors, addressing concerns some of you have raised for years. Ben felt his chest tighten. Renee's truth, finally acknowledged. Third, immediate launch of SAGE Seniors and Apprentices Generational Engineering as a fully funded pilot program here at Riverbend. The dam broke. Applause thundered off the gym walls. People stood, hugged, wept openly. Frank climbed the stage steps, work boots heavy on the plywood. He extended his hand to Alex. She shook it firmly. Union stands ready to partner. His voice carried without the mic. Count on it, she replied. The pledge table mobbed instantly. Workers signed their names with deliberate pride. Supervisors joined them, even some retirees, wanting to help train the next generation. Alex found Maya near the water fountain, holding her sketch pad. I have something for you. She handed Maya a compact case, professional-grade colored pencils, templates, a small drafting ruler. Keep sketching. The future needs designers who understand what matters. Maya hugged the case. My mom would have liked you. I would have liked her too. 9 o'clock. The choir returned to the stage. Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. The gym sang with full hearts. These weren't just words, they were promises kept, faith rewarded. 9:15. Volunteers stacked chairs with practiced efficiency. Ben helped the custodian, Mr. Rodriguez, check windows and exits. Haven't seen the gym this full since state championships, Rodriguez said, killing the lights. This was bigger than basketball. Yes, it was. The parking lot emptied slowly. People lingered, reluctant to let the moment end. Ben's truck was among the last to leave. Maya dozed against the window, clutching her design kit. 10:40 p.m. Detroit. Carl Whitman typed furiously in his home office. Patricia, James tonight's spectacle was reckless. Diaz is making commitments we cannot sustain. The steering review alone will cost millions. SAGE is a union gift wrapped in feel-good rhetoric. She's juicing PR to pump stock price before quarterly reports. The board must intervene before she destroys shareholder value. Send. Within minutes, a third party, someone on Whitman's contact list, forwarded fragments to a tabloid blog that thrived on corporate drama. 11 p.m. Hickory Ridge. Ben tucked Maya into bed, her design kit on the nightstand. Dad? Today was perfect. Yeah, it was. He checked his phone once, a text from Alex. Thank you for the introduction. Couldn't have done it without you. He typed back, "This is just the beginning." The house settled into sleep. Outside, November wind rattled empty branches. Miles away, Whitman's poison began its digital spread. But tonight, Hickory Ridge slept sound. Friday morning arrived wrapped in false hope. 7:20, and thank you notes fluttered from Grace. Gear's door handle like prayer flags. Ben pulled them free, reading each one. "Mr. Carter, you saved me $400 on new tires I didn't need yet. God bless. Thank you for treating us old folks with respect. My granddaughter wants to be a mechanic now." He tucked them into his shirt pocket and unlocked the shop. 9:05. His phone buzzed. Addison's name. "Ben, don't check the internet. I'm calling you right back." Too late. The link had already spread through 3 group texts. Regional Gossip Daily. CEO's mechanic advisor has a record. The article twisted time itself. A traffic stop when he was 19 driving while black in the wrong neighborhood. The charge of resisting when he'd asked why he'd been pulled over. Expunged meant nothing to people hunting ammunition. Questions arise about the credibility of Carter, who displayed a temper with law enforcement. 9:30. Addison called back. "It's Whitman. Has to be. I'm filing takedown requests, but it's out there." Ben's voice stayed level. "Can't unring that bell. We're preparing a full rebuttal, your service record, your business reputation, testimonials from Addison." He stopped her. "They don't want truth. They want doubt." Through the shop window, he watched Mrs. Chen shuffle past, the woman whose tires he'd rotated free last month. She didn't wave. 10:15. In Detroit, Whitman commanded an emergency board call from his corner office. Alex Diaz has compromised her fiduciary duty by partnering with someone who concealed a criminal background. The market's already responding. By noon, Monarch stock had dropped 3%. 2 parts suppliers called, demanding clarity on leadership stability. 1:30. Alex's driver turned onto Maple Street. She saw at first red spray paint across Grace, Gear's brick wall. Fraud. The letters dripped like wounds. Alex found Ben inside, staring at the wall through the window. "I'm sorry," they said simultaneously. "Police are coming," Ben said, "though I doubt they'll find who did it. We'll fix this." "Some things don't fix, Alex." Pastor Ruth arrived with a paint crew before the police finished their photos. 5 church members, paint rollers in hand. They covered the slur in steady strokes of primer white. 4 o'clock. Alex's phone rang. The lead director's voice carried institutional weight. "Given market turbulence and questions about your judgment, the board requests you step back temporarily. Just administrative leave while compliance reviews some unusual trading chatter around last night's announcement." "You're suspending me?" "Temporarily. Whitman will oversee operations. The SAGE pilot is frozen, and we're pausing the recall review pending your return." The line went dead. 6:10. Monarch's press release hit the wires. Corporate language that meant devastation, administrative leave, pending review, interim leadership. Ben read it on his phone while Maya did homework at the shop counter. "I destroyed everything." The words came out flat. "Your job. The town's hope." "Dad, no. I need to step away before I hurt anyone else." 7 o'clock. He pulled a yellow legal pad from the drawer. "To Monarch Motors leadership, I hereby resign from any advisory role, formal or informal, effective immediately. I hope my withdrawal allows the important work to continue without distraction. Respectfully, Benjamin Carter." He began boxing clinic supplies. Air gauges, valve stems, the leftover safety sheets Maya had designed. Maya sat on her usual stool, tears rolling silently down her cheeks, but she helped, writing contents on each box in careful letters. "We did good work, Dad. We did. It mattered. It did." Pastor Ruth knocked at 8:30, carrying a pot of soup and fresh bread. "The community's not giving up, Ben." "Oh, the community didn't cause this mess. Neither did you." She set the pot on his desk. "That article was a hit job. Everyone knows it. Knowing and proving are different things. 9:30. Ben's phone lit up. Addison, texting from a number he didn't recognize. Don't send anything until morning. I have something from inside Argus. Solid evidence. But I need to move carefully. Can you wait until 10 a.m. tomorrow? Ben looked at the resignation letter, already in an envelope. 10 a.m. Saturday. Then I'm out. Understood. Don't lose hope. Hope. The word felt foreign now. 10 o'clock. The shop stood neat as a pin, boxes stacked by the door like surrender flags. Ben's resignation letter centered on the clean desk. He set his alarm for 6:30, though he doubted he'd sleep. Come on, baby girl, let's go home. Maya gathered her backpack, her design kit tucked inside. They locked up and drove through streets that felt different now, charged with disappointment, heavy with confusion. The house was dark except for the kitchen light they always left on. Shower and bed. Ben said, tomorrow's another day. What happens tomorrow? We keep going. But even he didn't believe it. 7:30 Saturday morning. Ben's key turned in the lock of Grace. 8 gears. The boxed clinic supplies still waited by the door, accusatory in their tidiness. He hadn't sent the resignation. Addison's text had bought 12 hours. 8:05. A rental sedan pulled up. Addison stepped out carrying a banker's box like it held explosives. Maybe it did. You came back. Never really left. She set the box on his clean desk. The Argus engineer went through proper channels this time. Public interest, legal tip line. Everything documented. She produced a flash drive, internal test reports, torsion pin seizure at low temperatures, supplier quality memos. And this, she opened a folder to a printed email chain. Whitman rejecting escalation and approving what he calls commercial consideration to Argus. That's corporate speak for hush money. Ben studied the pages, timestamps, sender lists, hash-verified PDFs with digital signatures, chain of custody, bulletproof. The tip line logs everything time received, file integrity, source verification without revealing identity. The engineers protected? Whistleblower statutes, they can't be touched. They worked in silence, creating 2 printed binders, clear tabs, chronological order, one for regulators, one for Monarch's independent directors who'd been kept in the dark. 9:45. Pastor Ruth's knock rattled the door. You two look like conspirators. Truth tellers, Addison corrected. There's a difference. They spread the evidence across Ben's desk. Ruth read in silence, her expression hardening with each page. This is damning. It's enough to force a real investigation, Addison said. But we need community pressure too. The human cost, Ruth straightened. Sunday afternoon, Fellowship Hall. We'll ask everyone to write 1 page about what Riverbend means to them, any steering problems they've had. Real stories from real people. They'll come? After what happened Thursday night? After that graffiti? Ruth's voice carried steel. They'll come. We'll call it Tires for Truth. She was already pulling out her phone, calling the church volunteers. Fellowship Hall, 2 to 5 tomorrow. Coffee, cookies, and justice. 10 o'clock arrived, the moment Ben had planned to quit. Instead, he deleted the resignation draft. The yellow paper went into the recycling bin. Church office has a better scanner, Ruth said, and Mildred keeps everything organized. They caravanned to First Methodist. Mildred, the 70-year-old church secretary, took one look at their faces and cleared her desk. Whatever you need. They scanned every page, created a simple index with plain English descriptions. Test showing steering failure. Email hiding the problem. Payment to stay quiet, noon. Back at the shop, Ben made sandwiches while Maya did math homework. Addison worked her phone with the focus of a sniper. Public interest attorney in Detroit, Catherine Walsh. She'll meet us Monday morning, 9 sharp. She'll walk the materials straight to regulators. Why would she help? Because she's been waiting 3 years for evidence this solid against Whitman, He killed her client's wrongful death case with procedural moves. The afternoon blurred. Phone calls to neighbors. Ben's voicemail held 17 messages, some supporting, some ugly, most confused. He deleted them all. We start fresh tomorrow. They scrubbed the repainted wall again, though the primer had covered the slur. Some stains you cleaned anyway, just to feel like you were doing something. 7:30 that evening, they set up the fellowship hall. Round tables for 8, pens and paper at each place. A banner Maya painted, "Your story matters." "How many will come?" Ben asked. "Enough," Ruth said. "It only takes one match to light a fire." Maya arranged cookies on platters, humming the hymn from Thursday night, "Great is thy faithfulness." The tune carried through the empty hall like a promise. 9 o'clock. They locked the church and headed home. The streets were Saturday quiet, but Ben noticed curtains moving as they passed. The town was watching, waiting. "School clothes for church," Ben reminded Maya at home. "Already laid out. That's my girl." She hugged him at her bedroom door. "Longer than usual. Mom would be proud of you, Dad. Of us." His alarm clock glowed, 10:47 p.m. Tomorrow would bring whatever it brought. But tonight, for the first time since seeing that graffiti, Ben felt something other than defeat. Not hope, exactly, but determination. The difference between stopping and being stopped. He checked the locks, turned off the lights, and climbed the stairs. Through Maya's door, he heard her pencil scratching, still designing cars, still believing in the future. The engineer had risked everything to get them this evidence. The least they could do was use it. Sunday was coming, and with it, a reckoning. Sunday service ended, with the benediction at 9:30. The congregation didn't scatter to their cars as usual. They moved downstairs in a steady stream, dress shoes clicking on worn linoleum. Addison had transformed the entrance into a checkpoint. Simple sign-in table, name, contact, connection to Riverbend employee, retiree, family, senior driver. No speeches. Just a clipboard and a smile. 10 o'clock. The fellowship hall filled with the scratch of pens on paper. At the first table, Dorothy Henshaw described her husband's forced retirement at 58. They called it restructuring. But they hired 2 kids fresh from college the next week. Table 3 held the Rodriguez family. 3 generations. The grandfather wrote about training apprentices for 30 years, only to watch the program gutted. His son detailed safety shortcuts after the Argus switch. The granddaughter, home from community college, explained how her scholarship depended on her dad's union wages. Ben moved between tables, answering questions. "Inner edge where?" "Yes, ma'am, that's what I'm seeing. Especially on the 18 and 19 models. The torsion pin? Think of it like a tiny metal finger that keeps your steering wheel connected to your wheels when it fails." Frank worked the room's other half, collecting promotion stories. Each one the same but different. Qualified workers passed over, vague explanations about culture fit or leadership style. Always the older ones. Often the black ones. 23 years on the line. Marcus Washington said, his handwriting careful as carved stone. "Trained half of management. Still waiting for my shot." Maya operated the copy machine like a pro. 2 copies of each letter, one for the packet, one for families. She'd rigged a numbering system with sticky notes, keeping everything organized. The school counselor, Janet Mills, wrote about band instruments. "Riverbend wages buy trumpets and saxophones. Close the plant, you silence our kids." By noon, the coffee ran low. Ruth sent teenagers to brew more. The cookie platters emptied and refilled. Nobody left. 12:30. Ben counted folders. 800 letters and climbing. "This is testimony," Ruth said. "Like camp meeting, but with paperwork." 1 o'clock. A woman Ben didn't recognize approached the sign-in table. Elderly, using a walker. "I'm not from here. Drove from Dayton. Saw something online about this." She pulled out a wrinkled accident report. "My sister, 2 years ago, steering locked up on I-70. Monarch said, driver error." Addison photocopied the report, added it to a new folder marked Out of State, 130. The final count, 147 letters. They created a cover sheet on Ruth's laptop. Simple bullet points, training gaps, promotion discrimination, safety concerns after supplier changes, economic impact on schools, small business, healthcare. No names for those requesting privacy, just facts arranged like evidence. Addison's phone vibrated. She stepped into the hallway, returned with her jaw set. The Argus engineer. They'll talk to regulators tomorrow. 10:30. Secure line. Attorney arranged. Brave soul. Frank muttered. Brave or desperate. Sometimes they're the same. 3 o'clock. They formed a circle. All 100+ people still there, holding hands. Ruth's prayer filled the room. Lord, we ask not for vengeance, but for justice. Not for anger, but for courage. Let truth be our weapon and love be our shield. Amens rippled through the circle. Ruth stayed in preacher mode. Tomorrow morning, 6:30 sharp, we're taking these letters to Detroit. Peaceful witness in the Monarch lobby, while Ben, Addison, and Frank meet with lawyers upstairs. How many vehicles? Someone asked. Every pickup, minivan, and sedan that runs, plus the church bus. We're not hiding. We're standing. They formed an assembly line, letters into boxes. Boxes into Ben's truck, locked tight. The evidence binders went into a separate case with combination locks. 5 o'clock. Everything secured. They'd transformed paper and ink into ammunition. Signs appeared from the youth group room. We are more than a line item, Maya's idea, painted in careful letters. Fix it right. Do right. Frank's suggestion, bold and simple. Riverbend runs on truth from the Rodriguez granddaughter. They stacked them by the church bus door. Ready for morning. 6:15. Ben's phone rang. Alex's name on the screen. I'm praying for all of you. Her voice sounded tired but steady. I can't direct you or advise you, but the truth belongs in the light. We've got strong evidence. The engineer came through. I know. I don't know details. But I know something's moving. We'll file everything tomorrow morning. You won't be blindsided. Ben. She paused. Thank you for not giving up after what they did to you. We don't throw people away. That includes you. The line went quiet. Then, give Maya my love. Tell her to keep sketching. 8:30. The fellowship hall was restored. Tables folded, floors swept, coffee makers cleaned. Only the faint smell of markers and determination lingered. Ruth gathered the drivers. 6:30 at the church. Full tanks, dressed respectfully. Pack lunches, we might be there all day. What if they arrest us? Betty Carlson asked. For standing in a lobby with letters? Let them try. Everyone scattered to their cars with purpose. Tomorrow would bring whatever it brought. But tonight, they'd done the work. Ben drove home with Maya curled in the passenger seat, exhausted. Think it'll matter? She asked. Every truth matters. Sometimes it just takes a while to add up. They pulled into their driveway at 9. Lights blazed in windows up and down the street. The whole town was awake, waiting, preparing. Inside, Ben set his alarm for 5:30. Early enough to check the truck, review the route, pray. Maya headed upstairs, then stopped. Dad, we're doing the right thing. Not a question, a statement. Yeah, baby, we are. The house settled into Sunday quiet. Tomorrow, Detroit. Tomorrow, the reckoning. But tonight, rest. Even warriors need sleep. Monday, day 14. 5:45 in the morning. The church parking lot filled under a gray sky that promised neither rain nor sun. Just witness. Ben checked his truck bed one more time, boxes secure, binders locked. Maya sat in the cab, clutching her backpack with sandwiches and water bottles. Cars kept coming, pickup trucks with toolboxes rattling, minivans with child seats, Frank's ancient Buick. The church bus, yellow and determined. 6:15. Pastor Ruth walked the line with a clipboard, checking names. 24 vehicles. That's a statement. Someone had made hazard triangles from cardboard and markers, "Truth," written in the center. They taped them in rear windows, 6:30 sharp. Ruth stood on the bus steps. "We drive with purpose, speed limit, no honking. Hazards on once we hit Detroit city limits. Questions?" Betty Carlson raised her hand. "What if they try to stop us? We're citizens delivering mail. Nothing illegal about that." The convoy rolled out. Ben led, Maya navigating with printed directions. The church bus anchored the middle. Frank brought up the rear, watching for stragglers. Route 23 north. Empty at this hour except for semis and shift workers. The sunrise tried to break through clouds but couldn't quite manage it. 7:30. They merged onto I-75. Detroit's skyline appeared like judgment on the horizon. 8:45. Downtown Detroit. Glass towers reflecting gray sky. Ben's GPS led them to a parking garage 2 blocks from the Target building. They walked in groups, carrying nothing but dignity. The attorney waited on the sidewalk. Young black sharp suit, wheeled cart ready. "I'm Marcus Powell, Public Interest Legal Fund. Let's keep this smooth." Ben and Frank loaded boxes onto the cart. Addison carried the locked binders. The rest of the caravan waited on the plaza, signs at their sides, 9 o'clock. Inside the tower. Marble floors, security desk, the smell of expensive coffee. They signed in, took visitor badges, rode the elevator to the 16th floor, the State Attorney General's Consumer Protection Office, a conference room with government gray walls. Powell presented materials like evidence at trial, document set 1-147 community impact letters, indexed by topic. The AG staffer, a woman named Chen, signed the intake receipt. Document set 2, technical analysis and correspondence regarding torsion pin failure in Argus-supplied steering columns. Another signature. Timestamp. 9:18 a.m. They repeated the process at the NHTSA liaison office on the 20th floor. More signatures, more timestamps, everything by the book. 10:30. Back in the AG's conference room, speaker phone in the center of the table, Powell dialed a number known only to him, a voice, digitally altered but clear. "This is the Argus engineer." Chen leaned forward. "Please state your relevant expertise." 7 years in component testing. Direct oversight of cold weather stress protocols. "What did your tests show?" "Torsion pin binding at temperatures below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Intermittent, but predictable. We documented 17 bench failures. Who was notified?" "I personally sent reports to Monarch's purchasing team on March 3rd, 2 years ago. Follow-ups on March 18th and April 20nd. The April email was forwarded to Finance." "Any responses?" A call from someone identifying as Carl Whitman's assistant. "They offered a commercial consideration if we reclassified the issue as theoretical risk rather than observed failure." Chen scribbled notes. "Amount? $2 million, coded as a volume discount." 11:20. Chen excused herself, returned with her supervisor. They issued preservation notices on the spot. Monarch and Argus had 4 hours to lock down all relevant communications. "We're also notifying Monarch's board directly. They have a fiduciary duty to preserve evidence." Powell nodded. "We'll want copies of those notices." 11:45. In the elevator down, Ben turned to Powell. "Media's going to call. What do we say?" "The truth, simply. You delivered documents. Regulators will do their jobs. No speculation, no accusations. Let the evidence speak." Noon. The atrium filled with Riverbend voices. Not shouting, singing. Amazing grace, soft and steady. The security guards watched but didn't intervene. Legal assembly, public space. Pastor Ruth read a prepared statement. "We are workers, retirees, and families from Riverbend, Ohio. We've provided testimony about safety concerns and economic impact. We ask for fairness, thoroughness, and speed. Thank you. No blocking, no disturbance." They stood like a prayer circle in business clothes. 12:30. Addison's phone buzzed. Email from the lead independent directors council. Materials received via AG notification. Please forward any additional evidence directly to Audit Committee Counsel. A direct line, bypassing Whitman entirely. 1:15, Powell showed them his phone. Detroit, Free Press, Business Section. State AG confirms receipt of documents alleging suppressed steering risk at Monarch Supplier. Careful writing, no sensationalism. Just facts. The story was out. 2:40. They were loading back into vehicles when Addison's phone rang. A contact inside Monarch. Emergency Audit Committee session, 4 o'clock. Whitman's role is the only agenda item. The machinery of accountability, grinding to life, 3 o'clock. The convoy regrouped at a rest area outside Toledo. Frank called plant stewards from the payphone. Evidence delivered, states investigating. Keep everyone calm but ready. The drive home felt lighter. They'd done what they came to do. 6:30, Ben's driveway. Maya asleep against the window. He carried her inside, still holding her backpack. The kitchen table, tomato soup warming. Grilled cheese in the pan, phones charging, waiting. 7 o'clock. They ate in comfortable silence. Outside, neighbors' porch lights flickered on. Watching, waiting. Together. The phone stayed quiet, but somewhere in Detroit, conference rooms blazed with emergency sessions. Truth had been delivered. Now came the reckoning. 7:10. Addison's text lit up Ben's phone. Audit Committee voted. Whitman suspended. Board calling Alex at 8. Maya looked up from her homework. Is that good? Getting there. Ben wiped down the kitchen counter, checked the clock. 7:40. 20 minutes until Alex's call. He helped Maya with fractions, both of them glancing at the phone. 8 o'clock came and went. 8:15. 8:20. At 8:35 the phone rang. Ben, it's Alex. Can Maya hear too? We're both here. He hit speaker, set the phone between them on the table. They've reinstated me. Effective immediately. Her voice carried exhaustion and relief in equal measure. The board was unanimous once they saw the AG's preservation notice. Whitman suspended pending full investigation. They're bringing in outside auditors for everything finances, safety protocols, discrimination patterns. Maya leaned toward the phone. Does this mean the plant stays open? That's my first priority. I need to show them better options than closure. Ben, will you stand with me tomorrow? I'm facing the Riverbend workers at 10:30. Press conference on the factory floor. Of course. Thank you. I couldn't have, her voice caught. None of this happens without that night on the highway. After she hung up, they sat in the kitchen's yellow light. Outside, crickets sang. The refrigerator hummed. 9:10. Ben's phone buzzed. Another text from Addison. Check the news. He pulled up the State Attorney General's website. Fresh posting. Timestamped 9:08 p.m. for immediate release. The Michigan Attorney General's office has opened a formal inquiry into allegations that automotive supplier Argus Components and personnel at Monarch Motors suppressed safety warnings regarding steering column components. Investigators will examine whether consumer protection laws were violated. Subpoenas will be issued as warranted. The investigation remains active and ongoing. No conclusions have been reached at this time. Maya read over his shoulder. They're really doing it. Government moves slow, but it moves. 9:45. Alex called again, this time a conference line with Addison, Frank, and Pastor Ruth. Tomorrow's press conference, 10:30 on the factory floor. I want the plant choir there. Their presence matters. Addison's drafting talking points. Addison's voice, efficient and clear. 4 sections. 1. Direct apology for past failures. 2. Immediate recall review with independent oversight. 3. Riverbend's future including retooling plans. 4. Concrete anti-discrimination measures with timelines and accountability. Keep it simple, Frank said. Workers need to hear it straight. I'll email a draft in 30 minutes. Everyone adds one line in their own words. 10:20. The draft arrived. Ben read it at the kitchen table while Maya brushed her teeth. The apology section: Monarch failed you. We buried warnings, denied claims, and valued quarterly earnings over your safety. This stops now. The recall section: every affected vehicle will be inspected at no cost. Mobile units will come to you. If Renee Carter's crash involved our failure, we will make it right. Riverbend's future: this plant will not close. We're investing in electric vehicle retooling. Your jobs, your skills, your community matter. Anti-discrimination measures: promotion audit begins this week. Pay equity review with published results. SAGE. Program launches immediately with full funding. Ben typed his addition. Trust is earned through actions, not words. Judge us by what we do, not what we say. Frank added, every worker deserves dignity, fair wages, and a safe product they can be proud of. Pastor Ruth: redemption requires confession, restitution, and changed behavior. We're watching all three. Addison herself: transparency means you'll see our mistakes and our corrections in real time. No more closed doors. 10:45. Ben laid out his clothes on the bedroom chair. Clean khakis, navy work shirt with Grace gears embroidered on the pocket. The tie Renee had given him their last Christmas, simple blue with tiny silver stars. He sat on Maya's bed. She was reading, fighting sleep. Big day tomorrow. You think Mom would be proud? I know she would. Of the recall. Of standing up. Of not letting them hide it. She marked her page, set the book aside. Will Ms. Alex keep her promises? I think she's trying. That matters. But trying isn't enough. No, that's why we keep watching, keep pushing, keep showing up. Maya pulled the blanket to her chin. Dad, what happens to Mr. Whitman? That's for investigators and lawyers to figure out. But he knew people could get hurt. Yes. Like Mom. Maybe like Mom. She was quiet for a moment. I'm glad you stopped for Ms. Alex that night. Me too. Even with everything hard that happened after? Especially then. Right things aren't always easy things. He kissed her forehead, turned off her lamp. In his own room, Ben checked his phone one more time. A text from Alex. Thank you for tomorrow, for everything. He plugged in the phone, set his alarm for 6:30. Through the window, the neighbor's motion light flickered on. A cat, probably, or a raccoon. The ordinary movements of a Monday night in Hickory Ridge, while 200 miles away, lawyers prepared subpoenas and executives drafted resignations. 11 o'clock. The house settled into sleep. On the chair, his work shirt waited. In the morning, he would stand on a factory floor and witness something he'd thought impossible. A corporation admitting fault, accepting responsibility, choosing change. Not the end. The beginning of accountability. But tonight, rest. Tomorrow would demand everything they had. Tuesday morning, day 15, brought sharp November air and pale sunlight through the shop windows. Ben straightened his tie in the truck's rearview mirror while Maya fixed her collar. Ready? Ready. 8:50. The Riverbend factory floor had been transformed. A small stage stood where the assembly line usually ran. Portable podium, rows of folding chairs, workers in blue coveralls lining the painted safety stripes. The plant choir clustered near the loading dock, humming scales. Frank checked the microphone, tapped twice. The sound echoed off metal beams. Testing. 1, 2. Workers filed in from morning break. Some carried coffee in paper cups. Others held phones, recording. The union steward stood along the walls, arms crossed, watching. 10:15. Alex arrived with Addison and 2 security guards who stayed by the entrance. She wore a simple gray suit, no jewelry except small pearl earrings. Her hands shook slightly as she reviewed note cards. You good? Ben asked. No, but I'm here. That's enough. 10:30. Frank called for quiet. The choir stopped warming up. Alex stepped to the microphone with Ben on her right, Frank on her left. Pastor Ruth and Maya sat front row center. "Good morning. I'm Alexandra Diaz, CEO of Monarch Motors. I'm here to apologize and to act." The floor stayed silent. 2,000 workers waiting. Monarch failed you. We received warnings about steering defects and chose to monitor instead of recall. We denied legitimate claims to protect quarterly earnings. We discriminated in promotions, using coded language about culture fit to hold back older workers and workers of color. A welder in the third row nodded slowly. "This stops now. Today we begin a voluntary recall of every vehicle with Argus steering components. Independent auditors, not Monarch employees, will oversee the process. Mobile service units will reach rural seniors first in their driveways, at their churches, wherever they need us." She turned to Frank. "The SAGE program launches immediately. As permanent policy. Paid mentorships for skills transfer. Protected training time in your contracts. An elected safety council with seats for line workers and community members, not just management." Frank stepped forward, picked up a pen from the podium, signed his name on the charter document. His signature, bold and clear, visible to the back rows. Alex continued. "Third-party auditors will review 5 years of promotion decisions. The results will be public. Pay equity analysis starts this week. Quarterly scorecards that you can fact-check." She paused, looked directly at the crowd. "Riverbend Assembly will not close. This plant will retool over 6 months to build Monarch's new electric delivery vans. Full training stipends during transition. Your jobs are safe, your skills matter. This community matters." The shift supervisor near the paint booth uncrossed his arms. For those whose steering claims were denied, including, her voice caught. She steadied herself. "Including Renee Carter's case, we're opening a restitution process, real review. Real accountability." She reached for Ben's hand, held it briefly. "Today we establish the Renee Carter Engineering Scholarship, full tuition for first-generation engineers from this county. Funded immediately, because the next generation deserves better than we gave." The plant choir began, "Great is thy faithfulness." Their voices filled the space between metal and concrete. Workers joined in, some just mouthing words, others singing full-throated. When the hymn ended, Ben stepped to the microphone. "Second chances aren't guaranteed. They're earned. Safe steering, fair wages, honest business, that's how we keep each other on the road. Judge this company by what happens next, not what's said today." Applause started in the back, spread forward. Not wild celebration but steady acknowledgement. Some workers wiped their eyes with sleeves. 12:15. Alex faced the press pool, 3 cameras, 5 reporters. "The commitments I made inside are public record. Yes, we're cooperating fully with investigators. No, I won't speculate about Mr. Whitman or potential criminal charges. Our focus is fixing what's broken." "Will you resign if criminal negligence is proven?" A reporter from Detroit. "I'll do what serves safety and justice best. That's all I'll say today." 1 o'clock. Workers returned to stations, but different somehow. Back straighter, conversations louder. At the cafeteria entrance, a folding table with SAGE training sign-ups already had 40 names. Ben and Maya walked the floor with Alex. She knew their names: Roberto from welding, Patricia from paint, old Jim from quality control who'd worked there since 1978. "Never thought I'd see it," Jim said, shaking Alex's hand. CEO on the floor, saying sorry and meaning it. "Sorry's just the start," Alex replied. 3:30. In the shop office, Ben's phone buzzed. Addison had forwarded the audit committee memo, full cooperation with state and federal investigators, complete email preservation. No destruction of any records dating back 5 years. Maya looked up from her homework. They can't hide anything now? Harder to hide when everyone's watching. 6 o'clock. The church fellowship hall smelled of chili and cornbread. Pastor Ruth ladled bowls while Frank stacked recall help packets, location schedules, phone numbers in large print, transportation assistance forms. 200 packets already, Ruth reported. Volunteers delivering to shut-ins tomorrow. Maya designed a simple cover, a tire with a heart in the center. "We're here to help," in clear letters. "Your mother would love this," Ruth told Ben quietly. The scholarship. All of it. Truth winning. People mattering. Frank raised his coffee mug. Today one of keeping promises. They ate and planned. Mobile units would start Thursday at the senior center. The Safety Council would meet Mondays at the church, open to the public. The promotion audit would publish names who was passed over, who made decisions, what criteria were used. 9:30? Back home, Ben taped the scholarship flyer to the refrigerator with Maya's drawings. The Renee Carter Engineering Scholarship, building tomorrow's safety leaders. Maya traced her mother's name with one finger. She's not forgotten. Never was. Now everyone knows it. They stood in the kitchen, looking at the flyer. Through the window, Grace at her 80 gears sat ready for tomorrow's alignments, tomorrow's problems, tomorrow's solutions. Day 15 ended with promises made and work begun. The hardest part, keeping those promises stretched ahead like a highway. But tonight, for the first time in years, the road looked navigable. Week 1, Monday morning, Alex stood before the factory break room, reading from a single sheet. 48 SAGE. Applications received, all approved. Training starts Wednesday. The room filled with nods. Ben sat in the corner, taking notes for the Safety Council. Week 2, first apprentice cohort on the floor. Roberto's teaching welding to 3 20-somethings. Patricia has 2 learning paint chemistry. Old Jim raised his hand. They're asking real questions. Haven't seen that in years. Week 3. The independent auditor's timeline covered the break room wall. Red dots marked steering incidents. Yellow marked complaints filed. Green marked Monarch's responses. Patterns clear, Alex said. Complaints clustered in cold months. Responses stopped after finance got involved. Frank studied the timeline. We knew something was off. Now everyone can see it. Week 4 Human Resources posted the new promotion rubric on every bulletin board. Points for skill, points for training others. Points for safety innovations. Names, not numbers. 17 workers promoted retroactively, Alex announced. Back pay included. The room erupted. Not in cheers, but in something deeper vindication. Week 5 Ben supervised the first mobile recall van set up in St. Matthew's parking lot. Senior mechanic paired with apprentice. Tools organized. Safety checklists laminated. Remember, Ben told them, we're fixing more than steering columns. We're rebuilding trust. 63 cars serviced that first day. No charge. No questions except, are you safe now? Week 6. 2 more vans rolled out. Grace, ERs, Gears coordinated schedules. Pastor Ruth spread the word through prayer chains. Serviced the Henderson's Monarch yesterday, the apprentice reported. They cried when we fixed it. Said they'd been scared to drive since their neighbor's accident. Week 7 news traveled fast. Federal marshals at Whitman's Connecticut home. Boxes of documents carried out. Whitman in handcuffs, maintaining innocence. Lawyer speaking about misunderstandings and following standard practices. Let the courts handle him, Alex told the Monday meeting. We handle ourselves. More subpoenas arrived. Argus components under investigation. Other automakers checking their supplier chains. Week 8. The claims line stayed busy. Real people answering. Real reviews happening. Checks going out where evidence proved harm. 312 claims reopened, Addison reported. 87 approved so far, including Renee Carter's. Ben held the check briefly, then endorsed it to the scholarship fund. The Riverbend cafeteria transformed. String lights crossed overhead, long tables covered in amber cloth, the plant choir warming up near the dessert station. 400 people came, workers, retirees, families, kids at special tables with crayons and car coloring sheets Maya designed. Sign language interpreters by the podium. Pastor Ruth blessed the meal simply. For truth that freed us, for mercy that holds us, for work that matters. Amen. Turkey and ham from local farms, sides from church kitchens, pies from the bakery Ben's neighbor ran. After dinner, certificates. 78 seniors had completed the tire safety course. Each walked forward, some with walkers, one in a wheelchair to receive their paper. "You taught us about tread," said Mrs. Chen, 83. "We taught you about persistence, the S-A-G-E. Apprentices stood in new coveralls, badges pinned. 48 young people with futures now. The scholarship poster went up last. 5 names, 5 kids from the county heading to engineering school, tuition covered. Renee would have loved this," Pastor Ruth whispered to Ben. "She'd have run the whole program," Ben replied. Alex found him as people started cleaning up. "The Permanent Safety Council needs a community chair. Someone who understands both the floor and the town. When do we start?" "January. Monthly meetings. Real budget. Real authority." "I'll be there," Maya interrupted, sketchbook in hand. "Ms. Diaz, look, electric delivery van with a tire pressure monitoring display." Alex studied the drawing carefully. "Submit this to design team." "I'm serious." Addison captured them examining the sketch, CEO, mechanic, and young artist planning tomorrow's safety. As chairs got stacked, Ben and Alex worked side by side. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for stopping that night, for speaking up, for not giving up when things got dark. Thank you for listening, for fighting, for staying." They shared a look, not romance yet, but foundation, trust, first. Maybe more later. Pastor Ruth gathered the last volunteers. "May truth keep us steady, and may mercy hold us through whatever comes next." "Amen," they responded. 10 o'clock. Ben locked Grace, APE, Gears, now with a 3-week waiting list. The scholarship brochure stood beside Renee's photo on his desk. Her smile seemed peaceful now. Justice incomplete, but begun. Pain acknowledged. Future opening. He turned off the light. Outside, the plant's 3rd shift hummed. Orders for electric vans already coming in. The town breathing again. Ben walked home past lit windows, televisions flickering with football, families together. Maya waited on the porch, sketching by porch light. "Good day, Dad?" "Good day, baby." They went inside. 2 cups of cocoa. Maya's drawings spread on the table, the scholarship flyer on the refrigerator. Renee's presence in how they moved through the space she'd once filled. The house settled into quiet. Father and daughter safe. Town stabilizing. Truth still doing its slow, necessary work. If you enjoyed the story, I handpicked this next story that you will enjoy. Please don't miss this one. Click here to watch it.